Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of New Ideas Better HR. We have with us a very dynamic personality today, and I am personally very excited for this discussion. It is somebody that I personally love speaking to. He is an organizational consultant, a hypnotherapist, a coach, and many other things which I'll let him tell you personally. So please welcome Mr. Babri, better known as Max.
Thank you, Samar. Thank you, Samar, for inviting me to talk to you. And I'm very happy that I get this opportunity to be on your channel.
As a coach, as a consultant, what are the main themes? Why do organizations engage your services?
Okay, this is a very interesting story. And the story goes like this, that many years ago, I come from a little humbler background, and my father was working in Pakistan Ordnance Factories, VA. So my parents put me into a school which was a few notch higher than their own economic standing at that time. And of course, I had very good education there, and language skills were reasonably better than other schools were offering at that time. But I wanted to go into cadet college. Eventually, I went to cadet college Pitaro. And something happened there which was very interesting, because we had this great teacher, vice principal होते थे उस वक्त, बाद में he became the principal, Azim Saab, SS Azim Saab. So Azim Saab used to do this reading in the class, and all these people who had come from grammar school, they had good speaking ability and they could read well. Whereas a real talented one who had come from Toba Tek Singh and other places had difficulty in reading and expressing themselves. So they were kind of very much bashed by these grammar school boys, and it wasn't pleasant. So I could identify with both, because my economic condition was more in harmony with these people from rural areas, whereas my English skills were relatively okay compared to the grammar school guys. So my heart really went out for these boys, how badly they were treated. So यहाँ से बात शुरू हुई, and then I had the opportunity of going to Sweden, and I studied psychology. So when I came back to Pakistan, LUMS was being created, and I had the opportunity of meeting.
This is how many years ago, ma'am?
This was in '86. So LUMS was being created, and I was told, and I met these senior people, Babri Saab and Razak Daud Saab and Altaf Salim Saab, and these were the people who initiated. And I was told that the admission would be on the basis of merit. And I immediately thought that these guys will get into serious trouble. I said, listen, you will have about 40 kids who have done exceptionally well on their graduation exams. And now you're saying that capacity to pay is not important. So the talent would actually come from rural areas, and it would be mostly women.
So you were convinced about that?
I mean, women are talented. If everything equal, horses to horses, if we compare academically, वो तो और बात है, parents या society या community इनको आगे ना जाने दे, but they will beat guys.
That's a very big statement you're making, and I'd like to come.
Yes, so come back. Said, okay, what should we do? I said, you should have a module here which is called interpersonal skills module, which is aimed at teaching everybody and learning together with them to learn to respect fellow human beings and respect the talent that they bring to this group. After all, they are all being selected on the basis of merit. Right. So that's and they accepted. So I've been teaching that module, not now, but almost for 25 years I've taught at LUMS. It was aimed at helping people strengthen their self-esteem. So when you feel good about yourself, then you treat other people nicely. If you don't feel good about yourself, you tend to show power and you tend to exert and you tend to treat other people a little badly. So, जो mobbing होती है, उसकी वजह ये होती है कि we who don't feel that we deserve to be here, want to find a reason to receive attention from other people, and that sometimes is very problematic for other people who are at the receiving end. So that was my job, to help them communicate with each other, help them respect each other, understand each other, and help each other grow. So that was the job. Now, educational institutions, unfortunately, even LUMS sometimes, tend to drive people through fear. कि निकाल देंगे, fail हो जाओगे, वगैरह वगैरह. My job was the opposite. I'd come back from Sweden, and it was about encouraging, strengthening self-esteem, telling them how great they really are and what wonderful things they could do. So that was my job. So how I became a corporate consultant was when all these people went out of lumps and became senior people in organizations, then they started inviting me to do training for them. I think not about lumps so much, but I think there has been a tremendous growth in educational institutions, but we are unable to give them that quality which was available to our students maybe 20 years ago. And that's a sad commentary because they do have degrees, but with their degrees, they may not have enough confidence in themselves or may not have capacity to recognize what is it that they could give.
Why do you think that is, Max? क्यों quality of education क्यों drop किया? And also, why do you think people have more insecurity now?
Samar, I personally feel, yeah, good, very good question. I mean, let's go to the primary school then. Our primary school, let's talk about the government sector first. Our primary school teachers are people who were unable to get any other job. It's not their fault. They are also a produce of this system. And this system has produced them, and it is impossible for them to get, those people who can't get any jobs become school teachers. Now imagine the teacher's self-esteem itself. Now this teacher then drives people through fear and through aggression and through lack of encouragement because they themselves have not been encouraged and appreciated or loved. And that is the case with our whole of our education system. Unfortunately, our teachers still remain one of the lowest paid people in our society. The problem is that people who come from so-called little better off backgrounds and put their kids into private schools are not necessarily better educated, because the private school have their own dynamics. I mean, if we look, for example, the incidence of substance abuse, we'll find it's almost always in a better off schools. So there is also the other part. Parents have become exceptionally too busy to give quality time to their kids. I think in rural societies and in less developed economies in our communities, there still is a possibility of parents and families interacting with each other a little more. But in little more advanced, so-called affluent societies, the interaction has become minimized, and from the very early childhood, maids and drivers and everybody else is taking care of the kids. So the upbringing part has also suffered a lot in generally, not in every household, generally, and that has also reduced somehow the upbringing part of it. तालीम और तरबियत कहते हैं ना, the तरबियत part is also suffered.
तो मैक्स मुझे बताएं इन सब चीज़ों का influence, what do we foresee कि workforce के ऊपर क्या आ रहा होगा?
Workforce, employers and employees both are responsible for this. Employers in the sense that they just want people who they can squeeze and earn as much money as possible per head. Whereas employees are also job hopping, just saying, okay, where do I get a better deal? So there are no loyalties and kind of moving towards a long-term career or development in that.
That's very interesting because ये concept बहुत recent trends में हमें नजर आ रहा है that loyalty to an organization has kept decreasing over the years. You had companies जहाँ लोग अपना पूरा career गुजार लिया.
जी बिल्कुल.
लेकिन आजकल 5 years on a job पे आपको award मिलता है to actually be completing that time. Okay, तो Max मुझे ये बताएं, you've worked with a lot of leaders, a lot of executives in several companies. Managerial level से ऊपर जब लोग जाना शुरू करते हैं and they're responsible for handling teams, what do you see as the challenge that people face generally?
Okay, I think the companies, there are different kinds of companies, and there are multinationals, and multinationals are very focused, and they are goal-driven, and they are number-driven companies, and that can be, they pay well, but they can also take a lot from emotionally, socially, time-wise, and everything. Problem is that people ask me, organization, people are not loyal to us, and I tell them, listen, your employees don't have to be loyal to you. Are you loyal to them? If your numbers are not the numbers that are coming, would you carry your employees still for another year? Do you have enough saved profits? You have enough, you're robust enough in your savings. Would you take them? नहीं वो तो हमारे पता नहीं financial crisis हो जाएगा, ये हो जाएगा. So people know this, that our organization is not loyal to us. But then there are organizations who will take care of their people, and they are loyal to their people. And of course, people there, that's where people say, all right, I'm rather working here for a little less money because I get respect and I get to get myself involved into decision making. I think every organization must have a stated purpose of business. And the purpose of business, once it's stated, it cannot be profit maximizing. Because if profit maximizing is the purpose of business, the organization would implode. Because which would mean we don't care for the customer, we don't care for the employees, we don't care for the nature, we don't care for paying taxes, because we are in the business of maximizing profit. And
But isn't everyone?
well, I think that's why probably the business are not thriving. The purpose of business should be to improve quality of life of your customers, of your employees, of your shareholders. No doubt, shareholders as well. And the purpose of business is not to accumulate wealth, but to deploy that wealth back into businesses. So even more people can be employed, even more better quality products can be produced, even more citizens can be served, even more robust economy can become more stronger. So that's the purpose of business. So now when the managers or senior managers get into this misunderstanding that their job is to serve the shareholders only, then the employees and the customers get very adversely hit. And so that's what is happening.
Agree, मैं यही कहने लगी थी. This relates back to the discussion that we were having कि younger people are probably not loyal anymore because companies का purpose of business ही change हो चुका है over the years.
Absolutely. It is there, yeah, okay, how much can we squeeze? How much will he, not, originally the purpose of business is to groom people, to train people, to help them become better.
So when people come to you for coaching, जो managers, leaders, even younger people, when they come, आपको कितनी देर बाद लगता है या आप कैसे गेज करते हैं कि कोई difference उनकी जो भी challenges के साथ वो आए थे? How do you evaluate the result?
अच्छा, ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन समर बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग एक चीज़ है. Everybody, after the first session, everybody will agree with you. They agree with you because it's fashionable to say gender equality होनी चाहिए, it's fashionable to say equal pay होनी चाहिए, it's fashionable to say कि हर बंदे की टॉयलेट एक जैसी होनी चाहिए, खाना इकट्ठे खाना चाहिए. So it is fashionable to say. Now the second thing is to be actually understand what this implies, and to be convinced, and then to convert that into a behavior. So it takes time because behaviors have been set. Lower the self-esteem, the lesser propensity we have to give up power. Higher the self-esteem, we recognize power comes through sharing power, not by accumulating it. So it takes time. Some people would recognize and understand. Some people would want to hold on to the power that they have and treat other people badly, pretending that I'm a very laissez-faire employer and मेरा मुझे गुस्सा भी नहीं आता, मैं तो प्यार कर. That's what they think. So if you ask a manager, what kind of a manager or leader are you? Not good enough. We should go and ask people who are being led by this person anonymously. What do you think of this person? Get feedback, and that will give us a lot of information.
Self-reflection कितनी important है as a manager, as a leader, even as a human being?
Good idea, ना? इसके दो aspects हैं, qualitative aspect and quantitative aspect. So let me just start with quantitative, which is easier. I think before we go to sleep, we should ask ourselves, are there any people or anything that I've done today? 5 चीज़ें जिसकी मैं किसी को सॉरी कहना चाहता हूँ. आज मैंने दिन में क्या 5 ऐसी बातें की हैं जिसका मैं सॉरी कहना चाहता हूँ. And find those things and go say sorry. This is the quantitative part. Quantify कर दी ना 5 चीज़ें. Then is the reflection part. What is it that I could have done differently? Who am I? Where am I going? What is important for me? Am I treating other people nicely? Am I a giving, caring, sharing, loving, appreciative person? Because if I am pain, वो शुक्रगुजारी की भी हमारे वो दीन की भी बात है और वैसे भी ग्रेटफुलनेस बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट एक कॉन्सेप्ट है. बिकॉज पीपल हु आर ग्रेटफुल दे डोंट सिंक इनटू डिप्रेशन. People who are complaining all the time, there is a possibility that they might sink into depression. And once you are depressed, you lose the capacity to appreciate, admire, compliment, look around and appreciate the beauty that you see. So that takes away a lot. So I think it's a good idea to say, okay, what am I grateful for? What can I do differently? How do I change? How can I help other people get involved into decision making, how can I solicit their support into this, and things will flow even more naturally and happily.
बिल्कुल मैक्स, पहले आपने बात की थी फीमेल जेंडर के मुतालिक एंड यू मेड अ वेरी बोल्ड स्टेटमेंट इम्प्लाइंग दैट फीमेल्स आर स्मार्टर देन मेन, लेकिन आपको अनफॉर्चुनेटली वर्कफोर्स के अंदर इतनी खवातीन नज़र नहीं आती एंड जो आती भी हैं वो अभी तक ग्लास सीलिंग तोड़ नहीं सकी बहुत जगहों पे, अनलेस कोई बहुत ही यूनिक एग्जांपल आपके सामने आ जाए। क्या आपको लगता है चैलेंज है?
देखो, सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज तो ये है कि men, they should scared of women.
The truth comes out.
They should scared of women, and they're so afraid that if we kind of give free hand or equal hand to all the women, they would become very very successful. जी, आप किसको सप्रेस करके रखते हैं? आप सप्रेस उसी को करना चाहते हैं जो आपको लगता है कि बहुत ज़्यादा पावरफुल है। एकेडमिकली एक तो सिंपल सी बात है, पर बंदों को ये बात समझ में आ जानी चाहिए कि जो लड़की 18 साल की है वो उतनी ज़्यादा मैच्योर है जितना 25 साल का लड़का है। ठीक है, तो ये एक जो
With the mature father.
हाँ, तो ये तो मैच्योरिटी का एस्पेक्ट है। फिर रेजिलियंस औरत में ज़्यादा है। औरत इमोशनली स्ट्रॉन्ग है, औरत फिजिकली बायोलॉजिकली स्ट्रॉन्ग है, औरत इंटेलेक्चुअली स्ट्रॉन्ग है, एंड औरत इज़ वेरी फोकस्ड ऑन व्हाट शी डज। शी इज फोकस्ड एंड शी डज दैट। मेल्स का ये थोड़ा सा इशू है। I think it should be okay, I may be exaggerating a little bit, but it certainly should be parity. We must respect, men must learn to respect women, because as they respect women, they're actually becoming more respectable themselves.
Organizations क्या कर सकती हैं going forward अपने DNA, अपने culture में acceptance of gender, female gender लाने के लिए?
I think if I was to talk to the HR heads of all the organizations, I would first of all I say then to them that listen guys, you are the custodian of the people who work in this organization. You are not the custodian of the interest of the shareholders only. The only word important है। I'm not putting this
There has to be a balance.
confrontation में नहीं डाल रहा। Organization survive करेगी तो employees भी survive करेंगे, लेकिन balance होना चाहिए उसमें, so that और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन उसी वक्त सर्वाइव करेगी जिन लोगों ने प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज प्रोड्यूस करनी है, हम उनको कोई सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हों। अगर मैनेजमेंट और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और शेयर होल्डर अपने टैलेंट को कोई सर्विस और प्रोडक्ट प्रोवाइड नहीं कर रहे होंगे हाई क्वालिटी का, तो वो लोग भी अपने कस्टमर के लिए हाई क्वालिटी प्रोडक्ट नहीं कर सकते। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मिसट्रीटेड कस्टमर सर्विस एजेंट्स कैन नेवर प्रोवाइड क्वालिटी सर्विस टू देयर कस्टमर।
I agree, बिल्कुल सही बात।
So the chief executive or I think personally the president of the company has one job, and that job is to serve his internal customers.
वो human element business में वापस लेके आने वाला है।
But not as a manipulative tool to produce even more, but genuinely being interested in people.
That's lastly मैं आपसे बात करना चाहूँगी, हमारे बहुत ट्रेंड एक कल्चर में, दुनिया में इस वक्त वेलनेस का आ चुका है, फोकसिंग ऑन माइंड बॉडी सोल। बहुत सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस में हम देखते हैं ऑन साइट डॉक्टर्स अवेलेबल होते हैं, तो ऑन साइट काउंसलर्स की भी क्या शदीद ज़रूरत है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन?
Yes and no. I mean, okay, yes, I mean, but the thing is, it doesn't have to be former counselor. I think every line manager should be a counselor and a coach, or at least there should be one designated person in every department who, line manager का मसला ये होता है कि we can't go and complain about line manager to line manager, harassment है या कुछ और चीज़ें, तो एक आध बंदा from both genders organization में होना चाहिए जिसकी जो कि people's custodian कहलाए।
बिल्कुल, जैसे आप स्कूल्स में देखते हैं काउंसलर्स, गाइडेंस काउंसलर्स अवेलेबल होते हैं। यूनिलीवर आई थिंक हैज स्टार्टेड हैविंग अ ऑन साइट काउंसलर इन देयर ऑफिस आल्सो।
Absolutely, but I would also kind of put a warning sign there, and I think first line of defense should be peer counseling or online counseling, because just giving all the power to a counselor who is kind of being groomed to be a counselor can sometimes be disadvantageous, because she or he could assume too much power. So there must be some peer counseling as well, कि दो चार बंदों से मशवरा भी कर लें। Then don't discard the importance of independent counselors who are not necessarily on the list of
पेरोल पे नहीं है आपके,
list of the company, but are a list of people who can pick it up somewhere and offer it to the person that if you want to wish to go and meet with these people, the company would pay or pay 90% of it or 80% of it.
जैसे आपको medical allowance दी जाती है. Thank you so much, Max. Thank you for your time today. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Samar, for having me. I enjoyed talking to you.